What's going on, everybody? Red Velvet's back in the studio for the Youth Sports Chowdown, episode 124. This weather, let me tell you, this weather is awful. I hate this weather. It was just 60 not too long ago. Now it's snowing. It's awful. Just terrible. But we had a lot of hot action this weekend. I got to go commentate down in Odin, Indiana, Elite Pro Wrestling. Wrestleversary is their 8-year anniversary. And there was some hard-hitting action. I got to watch a bear, a mascot, get destroyed. He got pummeled by this big 6'5" guy. And then I got to see history being made. Dee Dee Jinks won the EPW Arise Cup Championship. First time ever. Clayton Clark had to face the Xodiak, defended his title against Xodiak, and pulled out the dub. So it was a fun time. Long night. I got home like 12:30. I'm not built for that anymore. But anyway, that was my weekend. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Happy Monday. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to get any further than that. But real quick, I got to thank the people that make this possible, the sponsors. Yes, thank you, sponsors. Also, thank you to our subs. All you got to do is click that button twice. Boom, boom. You are subscribed to the Diner Podcast, early access to podcasts and other cool things like that. I try to release, I release some of the All Diner Pod team early. I've released some of the record book early on the SubHub. So for 99 cents per month, you can subscribe to the Diner Podcast. All right. Enough of that. We got some community notes. So this week's episode is Anthony Spinks from FHS Youth Soccer. He's the president. He came on and taught me about his program. It's an up-and-coming program, which also, I'm going to jump over. They are still needing 2 more high school athletes for their varsity, their high school soccer team, the high school soccer team, their travel team. So if you're interested, go out to their page, reach out to them, reach out to Anthony. He will point you in the right direction. It's cheap. It's like $40. That's the rec. I could be dead wrong about the travel, but it's still pretty cheap, I'm guessing. Rec league practices start next week for FHS Youth Soccer. So get ready for that. I got some other things. Let's see. Where's it at? I forgot to add that. Well, let me add it. I don't know why it didn't add. I'm embarrassed myself right now. Jeez Louise. Can't believe that. Yeah, right there it is. I had it the whole time. The 5th grade junior Braves. They won the state middle school championship down in Bloomington. They are back-to-back winners of that. Congratulations to the junior Braves. And then Hunter Presley. He was on the dirt bikes this weekend. He took first place in the whole shot and then second place in the 4-stroke class. Congratulations, Hunter. Okay. What else we got? Our first segment, maybe. That's what's next. The next level athlete. This segment, next level athletes, we're going to start in the NBA. Terre Haute South star Craig Porter Jr. plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And here we go. We're going to jump into it. The Cavs took on the 76ers. The Cavs won 115-101. For the 76ers, Quentin Grimes had 17 points and 5 rebounds. And then for the Cavs, James Harden, the beard baby. We're like twins. We both got beards. He had 21 points and 5 rebounds. Craig Porter Jr. had 3 assists and 2 rebounds. And then the Cavs took on the Magic win. Where'd it go? Not that tab, dummy. The Magic win 128-122. Then the Cavs take on the Mavs, the Dallas Mavericks. The Cavs win 138-105. Evan Mobley had 29 points and 7 boards. And Craig Porter Jr., 5 points and 4 rebounds. Cooper Flagg, 25 points and 5 assists for the Mavericks. And then they face the Mavs yet again. The Mavs do win 130-120. Najee Marshall, 25 points and 7 assists. And Donovan Mitchell, 26 points and 11 assists. That is a double-double. Now we're going across the pond. We're going to Hungary. Cloverdale star Jalen Moore plays for Ingus Cormid. over there in the Hungary Basketball League. And they took on, Solznock. That's what we're going to call it, Solznock. The Aegis Cormand won 102-83. Jalen Moore led the team, 24 points and 8 assists. And then for Solznock, Latre Dethard had 19 points and 2 rebounds. He is an Oklahoma Sooner. Then we got one last team in women's college basketball. We're in the NAIA tournament, the first and second round. Marian University, the Marian Knights. They start off against Haskell Indian Nations University. The Knights win big time, 96-67. Angela Astorga had 18 points and 6 rebounds for Haskell. And then for Marian, Abby McAnally, 19 points and 7 rebounds. And then the Park Heritage star Emma Simpson had a steal. Then in the second round, Marian took on Columbia. Not that Columbia out of Missouri. The Knights win 70-47. Alexi Miller had 14 points and 8 boards for Columbia. And then Abby McAnally yet again had 19 points. Marian advances to the NAIA Sweet 16, or round of 16 as I call it, for the 7th consecutive season. So congratulations to the Marian Knights. Keep a pushing. All right, we got some college wrestling. We got McKendree University. They were at the D2 National Championships. They placed 3rd. They had Ronan Schulke and Darian Johnson were national champions, and they had 5 All-Americans. And then University of Indianapolis, they placed 25th in the national championships. And then Wabash in the D3 national championship placed 19th, and they had 2 All-Americans. Then we got college baseball, and there's a lot of games that went on, I can tell you that. We're going to start off with ISU. They took on Vanderbilt to start the week, 14-6, Vandy with the dub. Caden Miller had 2 hits, 2 ribbies, and a double, and Nick Sutherland had an RBI. ISU then took on Gonzaga in a 3-game matchup, and Gonzaga got the sweep all across the board. Gonzaga won 7-4. Nick Sutherland had a hit and a ribby. Greencastle star, forgot to mention that. Greencastle alum right there. Then Gonzaga won 7-4 yet again. Nick Sutherland had a hit and a ribby again. Then in 10 innings, Gonzaga pulled out the win 23-16. Nick Sutherland went off, though. 2 hits, 7 RBIs, and 2 home runs. Moving across the baseball lineup, we got Vincennes Lincoln. They took on, not Vincennes Lincoln, that's the high school, Vincennes University. They were in a 4-game series with Lincoln Land, and Lincoln Land won 3-1. In game 1, Lincoln went 16-5. Game 2, Virginia. Vincennes won 6-2. Then Lincoln Land was 13-1 and 25-24. And then we got Murray State, the Racers, baby. They played several games this week. They start off against Kentucky State, and the Racers win 26-2. Then a 3-game series against Lindenwood. Linden wins 4-0. Then the Racers win 3-1 with Dylan Zinko and former Northview Knight on the mound. He threw. That's a horrible throw. That's why I'm not a pitcher. He had 4 strikeouts. Then Murray took on Lindenwood yet again, and Lindenwood won 4-0. Indiana Tech played last Monday, right before the recording, so I didn't get to add the story. They took on number 2, Georgia Gwinnett, and Georgia won 6-0. Then Indiana Tech played a 2-game series against number 4, Tennessee Wesleyan. Indiana Tech gets a win in 10 innings, 4-3. And then Tennessee Wesleyan, they pull out the win in the second game, 11-15. And moving across, Indiana Tech then took on Aquinas College back-to-back games. In 7 innings, Indiana Tech won 10-4, and then they beat Aquinas Aquinas won 4-3. Indiana Tech took on then Rochester Christian. I got like a little screen right now. I don't like it. In a 2-game series, Indiana Tech won both 7-5 and 20-4. IU Kokomo, way down in Kokomo. They start off against Marian Knights. We got an Indiana battle. The Knights win 6-2. Peyton Lear with a hit. IU Kokomo takes on Rio Grande in a 3-game series. IU Kokomo wins 2 out of those, 10-9 and 6-3. Rio Grande wins their game 2-1. And then we have Huntington. We're moving on to Huntington. They take on Marion as well. The Knights win, move too far, 12-11. Kiefer Wilson, the Greencastle alum, 3 hits, 5 ribbies, and 2 home runs for Huntington. And then Huntington wins against Marion in game 2, 6-5. Game 3, Marion comes back with the dub 5-4. Kiefer Wilson, 2 hits and a double. And then game 4, they played Marion a lot. Hunting. I didn't know. There we go. Got it all out of my system. Huntington wins 15-7. Kiefer Wilson got an almost cycle. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a double, and a home run. We got college softball, and St. Mary of the Woods, I think, played 45 games this week. So shout out to those ladies. They were down in Florida at the Space Coast Spring Games, and they played a lot. St. Mary's started off against Lourdes. Lourdes won 5-4. Caden Bennett from Riverton Park had a hit and a double. And then they take on Coastal Georgia. Coastal Georgia wins 8-2. Then they take on Clark. Clark does not win. St. Mary's wins 3-0. Bailey Duke had a hit. And then St. Mary's takes on Fort Lauderdale. St. Mary's with the win, 5-3. Riverton Park showed up. Caden Bennett had a hit, 2 ribbies, and Bailey Duke with a hit. Then St. Mary's takes on Aquinas. Aquinas won 4-3. Bailey Duke with another hit. Northwest Ohio was the next opponent for St. Mary's, and Northwest Ohio wins 5-0. Caden Bennett with 2 hits. Then Kentucky Christian was next up. Kentucky Christian edges out the Pomeroys 6-5. Bailey Duke had a hit, a ribby, and a double. Kentucky Christian in game 2, 16-0. Kentucky Christian. Yikes. Then West Virginia Tech was in a 2-game series against St. Mary's. Like I said, they played like 45 games this week. It's a lot. St. Mary's won 6-4. Bailey Duke, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a double. That's a 2-2. And then the St. Mary's beat West Virginia Tech again, 6-0. Bailey Duke had 2 hits. IU Southeast took on Brescia in a 2-game series. They split 1-1. IU won 15-4, and then Brescia won 4-3. Then we have a 2-game series against Kentucky Christian. IU Southeast split 1-1. The first game, Kentucky Christian won 8-7. Lizzie Lightgable from Riverton Park had a hit. And then IU Southeast won 11-3. Now we got Taylor and the Clay City star Lizzie Cinders. She is making an immediate impact at Taylor University. They play 2 games against Spring Arbor and win both of them, 3-2 and 8-0. Lizzie Cinders in game 1 had a hit, a double, and then 6 strikeouts on the mound. Then she recorded a hit in the second game. Then they take on in a 2-game series Mount Vernon Nazarene, and Lizzie Cinders once again making noise. Taylor wins 14-3 and 9-6. Game 1, Lizzie Cinders had 5 strikeouts. And game 2, she had 2 hits, an RBI, and a double. Now we got Indiana Wesleyan. They played a 2-game series against Grace and won both 9-2 and 13-4. Lexi Thompson had a hit, a ribby, and a double in game 1. Then a double game, 2-game series against Mount Vernon Nazarene. The Wesleyan wins 13-6 and 9-1. Lexi Thompson, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a double. Yes, that's a 2-2-2. And then we're going up to Division I, Appalachian State, and Sophie Moshos from Clay City. We start off against College of Charleston. App State wins in 5 innings, 12-2, run rule there. Then they face Charleston Southern, and they win 10-0 in 5 innings. Sophie Moshos had 2 strikeouts. Then they have a 3-game series against Coastal Carolina, and App State only wins 1 of those 3. They won the first game 7-3. The next 2, Chanticleers win 3-2 and 8-7. Sophie Moshos, 7 strikeouts in both games combined. And that does it for that. All right. That was for the next level athletes. Softball and baseball is going to keep me a hopping. They play a lot of games. I'm not ready for that. But now it's time for the varsity special. And now the varsity special. We're going to start wrestling. We're going all the way to Iowa. We have the USA Wrestling 16U Junior Folk Style National Championships. And we have a national champ. Aubrey Barkowiak is a 2-time national champion in the heavyweight division. Congratulations, Aubrey. Very proud. Keep going. Now we got basketball. We got boys basketball. We had the regional championships. We had 5 teams make it to regionals, only 4 advanced. So here we go. Terre Haute North takes on Columbus North, and the Patriots win 62-54. There they are right there. Congratulations. Their win streak is now 22 wins. Northview takes on Ron Colley. The Royals win 54-43, ending the season of the Knights and the careers of some very awesome players. Braden Goff, Clayton Clark, and Avery Perry. Thank you for your contributions to your school. I've watched you guys grow up. It's been a pleasure covering you these last few years. Keep doing good things. We'll go from there. Park Heritage takes on Centerville, and Park Heritage wins 66-46. Trey Shelsky, 23.6 rebounds. Carter Crum with a double-double, 13 points and 11 boards. Isaac Pickle at 11 points and 7 rebounds. North Vermilion takes on Rossville, and in overtime, North Vermilion gets the dub. 59-54 overtime dub there. Graham Young, 18 points and 6 rebounds. Tegan Leonard had 12 points and 7 rebounds. And Andre Buchos got the double, 12 points, 12 rebounds. And then Linton Stockton beats Paoli 55-51 to advance to the semi-state. And we got middle school wrestling. We had one tournament. We had the MAC championship. Southmont took first place as a team. And then here's all the first place podium finishes. There's several because I cover almost the entire MAC conference except for Frankfort. Might as well grab them next year. We'll see. We'll see about that. All right. Jace Anderson, Ty Williamson, Sully Rourke, Waylon Ellingwood, Leo Munez, Easton Kelsey, Josiah Lawrence, Zeke Plunkett, Alexa Whitlow, Bentley Boyd, Robbie Scanton, Christian Jimenez, Gustavo Campos Ortiz, Carter Kessler, Connor Pettis, Connor Palmer, Zach Warren, and Sean Koval. Those are all your first place finishers. Now we got second place. Richie Hale, Austin Harlow, Bolton Hagenow, Colton Alling, TJ McKinney, Austin Rogers, Easton Fried, Tucker Hatfield, Burke Ratcliffe, Corbin Archer, Jordan Perez, Pablo Carrion, Alina Black, Tristan Moffort, Keegan Perry, Connor Rosen, Drake Wagner, and Easton Denikin all took second place. Now we're going over to Paris, Illinois. We got the AAU basketball action for girls. Havoc Silver Team. They start off against the Midwest Explosion. The Explosion wins 51-47. Brooklyn Ison, 12.6 rebounds. Charlie Spezia, 7 points and 2 rebounds. Zoe Overmeyer, 6 points and 7 boards. The Havoc then take on IGB. IGB wins 39-25. Brooklyn Ison, 7 points and 8 rebounds. Charlie Spezia, 6 points and 6 boards. And Emma Williams, 6 points and 5 rebounds. Then in the final game of the weekend, the Havoc take on Legacy Force Supreme. What a name. The Force went 50-23. Charlie Spezia had 8 points and 2 boards. Brooklyn Ison had 5 points and 2 rebounds. And Adley Pearson, 5 points and 4 rebounds. And that does it for the varsity special. Now it's time for that rookie report. Talking about youth sports, baby. And now we have 5th grade junior Knights. They are at the Wabash Valley Family Sports Center. Yeah, I probably butchered that name because that's what I do, is butcher that sports center's name. They took on Colorado. The Knights win 36-25. Parker Neese leads the team, double-double, 17 points and 14 boards. Bub Beasley had 8 points and 3 rebounds, and Wyatt Hayes, 5 points and a rebound. So congratulations to those young men. Now we got Outcast 12U Austin team. Got some softball. I bet it was cold this weekend. The Outcasts start off against the Chargers, and they win 10-4. And then the Outcasts take on the Bluegrass Breeze, and the Breeze win 9-7. Sadie Wheeler, 3 hits, a ribby, and a double. Taya Moreski, 2 hits, an RBI, and a double. Millie Hayes had 2 hits and a ribby. And Madeline Ventura had a home run. Addison Austin with 4 strikeouts. Then the Outcasts take on the Craze. The Craze win 12-2. Millie Hayes had a hit and an RBI. Addison Austin had 3 strikeouts. Outcasts then take on the Newburgh Untamed. Outcasts win. That's awful. 14-2. I'm not good with my hands. It's cold, so my hands don't work. Anthony Jarvis had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, and a double. Millie Hayes had 3 hits, a ribby, and a triple. Madeline Ventura, 2 hits, an RBI, a double, and a home run. Yes, that is an almost cycle. Sadie Wheeler, 2 hits, 3 RBIs, and a home run. And Millie Hayes had 5 strikeouts on the mound. Then the Outcasts take on the Centralia Supersonics. The Outcasts win 9-6. Addison Austin, 2 hits, 5 RBIs, and a triple, and a home run. That's an almost cycle as well. Tam Reski, 2 hits and a ribby. Millie Hayes, 2 hits, an RBI, and a triple. Anasty Jarvis had 2 hits, and Sullivan had a home run. Addison Austin, 8 strikeouts. And then last game of the week, Outcast and the Chargers. Chargers get the win 8-5. Addison Austin, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a double, and a triple. And Anasty Jarvis had 2 hits and a double. Millie Hayes, though, got 10 strikeouts that game. So, congratulations to the Outcast on a great weekend. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the Red Velvet Power Performers. All righty. This week's Power Performers are Aubrey Barkoviak. I didn't spell your name right. Trey Shelsky, Park Heritage. Andre Buchhaus from North Vermilion. Graham Young from North Vermilion. Connor Pettis from Southmont. Charlie Spezia from the Havoc. Parker Neese for the 5th grade junior Knights. Addison Austin for the Outcast 12U. So congratulations to those Power Performers. Congratulations to all the athletes. Keep working hard. Keep working. Keep pushing, as I like to say. It's been a pleasure covering all the athletes. I know basketball season is coming down, but we got baseball and softball getting ready to take off. If you want me to talk about your club, sport, activity, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to. Sometimes with some of the sports, got to get your crowns out and explain it to me because I don't know all the sports. I don't even know the main ones. I just kind of guess and usually guess right. But one more time, we're going to thank the sponsors. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, coaches. Thank you, players. Thank you, parents. Thank you, athletes. We'll see you next week on the Youth Sports Chowdown. Take care.